Hey guys, welcome back to JR14. Here we are with another video for today. And as you guys can see, I'm clearly in the Project Mark 7. And we're actually going to do actually my brother Eric is here. He's right there, you know, with the extension cord. But what we're going to be doing, we're actually going to be removing pretty much in the interior, all the interior trim in the car, and we're going to be rewrapping it. I've seen a couple of videos on it. I rewrapped my interior previously, but I haven't really done anything in terms of video content for it. So I'm rewrapping it with a new design, and I'd rather take you through the process of taking out the trim and rewrapping the interior bits. So without further ado, let's get started with the video right now. Okay, so here we are with the interior trim, right? So some of the trim I actually rewrapped. So as you can see, this piece down here, the climate controls, also with the cubby door here, and as well as the trim around the gear selector here. I also did the doors, as you can clearly see here. And I was lazy. I didn't do the vent on the driver's side. I didn't do the gauge cluster. I did the radio head unit before, but it was with the stock head unit. This is the upgraded Mark 7.5 head unit, the 8-inch display one. So if you haven't seen that video, how to install that, click in the upper right hand corner of the screen. I also rewrapped this with my logo in the corner, but even so, the logo has faded. It was not this faded orange. It definitely was red. The sun got to it and pretty much beat it to hell. But as far as the trim itself, as you can see from that door right over there, it came out pretty good. And the trim itself, as far as the material that we used last time, actually did pretty well. The only reason why I'm changing it is just because it's just a little old and dated. Yeah, the carbon fiber, the carbon weave looks really nice. It's not like a cheap design or cheap look by any means. But as you can see, I have forged carbon on the mirrors, and I have forged carbon on the steering wheel. So I kind of want to have something that ties into all of that, and this doesn't match up. So you're gonna see me take out all the interior bits. I'm only taking out the cubby, climate control, the radio, the gauge cluster here, the vent for the driver's side here, as well as the vent for the passenger side here. The other things I can wrap without removing these things, so it's not a problem. But I really want to make sure I get the head unit right, and I really want to make sure I get the gauge cluster right. It should be pretty simple, should be pretty easy. And yeah, so I'm going to do a little bit of a time lapse on my GoPro up here so that you guys can pretty much watch me take this all apart. So without further ado, there we go. All right, guys, so we're pretty much back in my apartment right now. What we did was we took out, like you saw in the time lapse, we went ahead and took out the trim pieces. Now I took out the gauge cluster trim, the climate control. We took out the left hand side of the driver's side vent, the light switch. I got the center console. Well, this is like the little cubby on the bottom where you plug in your USB, and also the radio trim piece right here. So we got pretty much majority of the stuff out. This is stuff that's gonna be a little difficult to wrap in the car, so it's just easy to have it out. And then, you know, only thing that we have to wrap in the doors, the only thing that we have to wrap in the car is the door trims and a couple of bits that, you know, we really didn't think that we had to get out. But this should be relatively easy. Hopefully, you know, I say that a lot and then we always run into some issue. Shut up. But for the most part, the reason why I think this is going to be pretty simple, just to be optimistic, is because a lot of these surfaces are flat. So like for this, for instance, yeah, this has some like different designs in it like here. But again, once you apply heat to it, it's just going to lay down flat. And then we'll use like an X-Acto knife to cut around the trims around. So you get a nice clean cut and remove the excess. It may be a little difficult down here because it's so thin. But again, it shouldn't be that bad.
It's where the heat cut.
Again, that's you. No, he's
no, I'm not the expert, but
oh yeah, you were the expert.
It's only my 20th time doing this.
Exactly. You're an expert at this point. So we're rubbing everything down with rubbing alcohol first. This way we have a nice clean surface. I had an old wrap on here before, so the good reason why you want to use rubbing alcohol, one, it's a good cleaner. And two, it will eliminate any oils or dust particles on the mating surface. So when we add the new wrap, it's relatively going to be simple to lay it down, and it won't come up or anything like that. Now let's talk about the wrap itself. So I'll put the link for these in the Amazon. I'm an Amazon affiliate, so I'll put the link for these down below, but I was a little excessive. I went ahead and got all these knives. Eric always complained about not having a sharp knife, so I got plenty of them.
No, it's a crucial piece of tool that you need.
Yeah. He's the non-expert though.
Non-expert. Just observation.
All right, so this is the trim we're going with here. So as you can see, I don't know if you guys can see that. I put it in a little bit of a light, but it's a little different of a pattern. I like it. It's like a forged carbon, but again, as you know, I have forged carbon mirror caps and I have a forged carbon fiber steering wheel. So now rewrapping all these interior bits would really kind of tie the whole interior together. I'm pretty excited about it. I don't know how much of this is needed, so I bought more than less. So I bought 3 rolls of this. The only part that I think will be extremely difficult as far as doing it in one shot will be the radio. So we might have to do 2 separate pieces to where you can't really see it. And I think I know exactly how we're gonna do that. And then the doors. So we measured, does it say? Oh yeah, so it's 1 foot by 5 feet. So it's a foot wide from top to bottom. And if I unravel this, it extends out to 5 feet long. So I think we have more than enough and extra just in case if anything messes up or if we do mess up, I wanted to have extra. So this is pretty much all it is. Oh, and we had to go to the store and get a heat gun. I didn't tell Eric that we needed a heat gun, so that's my mistake, buddy.
See, look, I did all the pieces.
So he did all, yeah, see?
Next thing you know, I'm gonna end up doing all the vinyl pieces by myself.
I mean,
yeah, Jay, I know how you work.
that's not true.
Well,
That's
half the stuff on this car is done.
That's BS. That's BS. But we're gonna go ahead now and we're gonna start getting this stuff wrapped, and this should be pretty interesting. So we're actually wrapping up some more things right now, but you know, as far as what we've done already, went ahead and we did, this is the light switch piece here, and this is the cubby hole here. So as you can see with the reflection and everything, that's gonna look really, really good in the car. Oh, I really can't wait to see this all in the car. It's actually
really good in the sun.
It's gonna look really good. Oh man, I'm really excited about the pump now. Material is somewhat different than other vinyls. It's not really cheap vinyl. I mean, well, no vinyl I usually use is cheap, but since there's a design on it, it's a little thicker and it really gets like gummy and sticky to heat. So that's what Eric was telling me, and I'm definitely seeing that when I'm wrapping these pieces. So this is the next piece I'm gonna wrap now. I would show you like the process of it, but I mean, it's really just like vinyl wrapping anything else. Like for instance, this is how Eric's doing it. He's just, we're laying a piece on first, we're cutting it. We're cutting the amount of vinyl needed for the piece. And then after that, we just apply it with our hands and just smooth everything out. Ideally, you would use a vinyl tool, but Eric or myself don't have any, you know, and then we just use heat to work with the rest of it. So now you'll see like the vinyl change and start to morph around the vent. So once that happens, then, you know, you use a little bit of heat, then you apply.
But the only thing with this type of vinyl, you have a short window before it gets stiff. But if you could get it to pick up the curvature of the vent, it will sit very nicely.
All right, guys, so here is the final product, or the final rendering of everything. So, you know, this is not Eric's first time wrapping. This is not my first time wrapping the interior because I've done it before. But pretty much here it looks really, really good. So this is, you know, these are all the pieces. You're not gonna quite see it just yet, but once it's all in the car and the sun hits it, then it's gonna be a really, really good time. It's really gonna all come together and really look good. So let's throw all this in the car. All right, guys, so now we are back in the car. As you can see, it's all taken apart. Everything taken apart. Yes, and we're gonna be rewrapping this piece. We're gonna be rewrapping this and the doors as well to make everything match and make everything uniform. But first, before I do that, I'm gonna wipe off all this dirt. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's just dirt all in here. It's a little windy, so I'm sorry. I apologize if you do hear the wind. But I'm gonna wipe all this down, and then Eric is gonna start on the doors as I put all this, wipe all this down and start putting all the trim pieces back together. And then, yeah, so I'm gonna show you guys on a time lapse back on the GoPro. And we're gonna get this thing resolved, and then this is gonna be dope because it's gonna match this. This is gonna be awesome. All right, so let me stop yapping. Let me get to it right now. Well, guys, that concludes this video of the trim wrap install, I guess that's what you call it, but it came out great. There are some imperfections and I'm going to clean these up, but for the most part we have a good foundation here. Like this vinyl's really, it's a lot thicker than the other one, and it really actually adhesive, the adhesive on it is actually pretty good. The best way to do this is to take all these trim panels off, which you saw in those time lapses and through my video as well. And I love it. It kind of matches this now. See they're kind of, it's not the same exact pattern, but it does match it matches better with it, and it's subtle, right? So you can kind of see the pattern here. Again, it took off everything and went down to the radio trim, all to the climate control, to the cubby, even down to this piece right here for the gear shifter. On the other doors as well. The only one I didn't do was this. We actually forgot. Me and Eric threw out that clip. It was getting later in the night, and we forgot all about this. So I'm gonna do this. I literally have the stuff here right now where you can do this. I will put a link for the material, which is this right here. I'll put a link for that in the description from Amazon. I'll put an Amazon heat gun. I just wanted to get one last minute because I thought my brother was bringing his, so we went to Home Depot, just picked one up real quick. But I'll find one on Amazon that's like, you know, plugs into an outlet and you can easily use it. This thing gets pretty hot, and I was going to return it, but it was only $20-something and it got the job done with no problem at all. And then also I'll put the link for these knives as well. These little cutters, it came with 5 of them and it was like for $8. And I have my own trim tool kit, but I'll put a link for this in the description down below as well, so you can get access to it also. But again, look how this came out. Like this, I'm really satisfied with this. And now it, you know, it kind of refreshes the interior a little bit. A new design going along with the forged carbon. Before I had that the regular carbon fiber pattern, which looked great, but again, it doesn't tie to anything else in the vehicle. Really taking this trim off, I would honestly say the hardest part to take off is this radio trim. I broke these 2 tabs in the center here, but again, it wasn't that much of a problem, to be honest with you. So I'm not really too worried about it, and I'm not going to be worried about it. Yeah, other than that, all the rest of this was pretty easy, pretty simple to take apart. This was actually really easy to take apart, and this I actually just did 2 L-shaped vinyls, so just like, you know, like just a piece going here, a piece going to this side here, cut out the trims while it was still inside, and then make an extra piece because like in the center here. And again, you can see it a little here, but again, something that's subtle, you're not really going to notice it. So overall it came out well. But yeah, this is what it looks like. And I even did the light switch here. Everything is done, everything was taken apart, everything was rewrapped and put back together. I would say if you have a day to do it, give yourself some time to do it. These pry tools really do help take these trims out. This one I actually left in there as well. There was no need to, you could take it out, but it's a pain in the ass to really take it out, and you really don't have to. So yeah, that concludes this video. But if you did like this video, I hope you did. I hope this was something that I know a lot of you guys in the past have asked me about this before, and I didn't make a video that I didn't explain how to do it. I said I was going to make a video later on in the future. Well, here it is. Do have questions? I hope this was a grateful guide for you guys to figure out how to do it. If you do have any questions, please feel free to comment down below. I'm getting better with answering comments again, and I want you guys to, you know, I want you guys to see what you think of this. Comment, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to JR14. You guys always remember when we do our interiors that now look absolutely fantastic. You guys always remember that cars are a lifestyle.